All right, everybody, I'm Logan Alec, I'm a CPA, and this is my stimulus update for Thursday, August 27th. Big stimulus news is that Nancy Pelosi and Mark Meadows will be speaking this afternoon after not having spoken since stimulus negotiations broke down on August 7th. So this could, optimistically speaking, be the restart of stimulus negotiations. Maybe Pelosi saw Meadows' interview with Politico yesterday, how Meadows was saying that Pelosi is going to hold out until the end of September and she'll try to use COVID-19 relief to get her way with appropriations. But whatever has transpired, it looks like there will be some communication today between Nancy Pelosi and Mark Meadows regarding stimulus at 2:30 p.m. today Eastern Time. I don't want to get your hopes up too much. We know that Mnuchin and Pelosi spoke a little less than a week after negotiations broke down. That talk didn't go so well, but we'll see what happens this afternoon. I will, of course, keep you updated. All right, poll results from yesterday. I asked y'all yesterday what you thought about Pelosi's decision to bring the House to vote on a postal service bill this past Saturday, but not doing any voting on stimulus-related measures, despite many members of her own Democratic caucus calling for that, as I told you last week. The overwhelming majority of you, 70%, said that you believe this was a bad call by Pelosi, with 16% of you saying it was a good decision, 14% of you saying it was a neutral decision. So we've talked about Democrats like Pelosi a lot. We talked about Mark Meadows yesterday, but today we're going to talk about Senate Republicans, because some more stimulus news of the day is based on a tweet by Washington Post reporter Erica Werner. She tweeted yesterday that Republican Senator Ron Johnson, yes, the same Ron Johnson who said he was very pleased that stimulus negotiations fell apart on August 7th for the sake of future generations, that Ron Johnson told her that he's optimistic about getting 51 Republican senators on board with a targeted stimulus bill that they could be called back to vote on before Labor Day. Looks like CNBC has caught on to the story as well, by the way, reporting that 5 people who are in the know told them, CNBC, that this bill, which I take to be perhaps an updated draft of the skinny bill, could be released to members of Congress this week. CNBC is reporting that this bill will just include areas of bipartisan support, such as unemployment, PPP, money for schools, and money for COVID-19 testing, tracing, and vaccine. Absent from CNBC's list is liability protection. Obviously, this is just a news report, but maybe Republicans are leveling off that proposal, which was in fact in their skinny bill. Anyway, Werner did tweet that Republicans have been working off of that skinny bill, the draft bill I showed you last week when I went over what was in fact in that skinny bill. And as I mentioned, there are no stimulus checks in that skinny bill, at least not in the draft that has been circulated. All it had was a liability protection, federally funded enhanced unemployment benefits at $300 weekly through the week ending December 27th, a second round of PPP targeted at businesses particularly hard hit this year, a loan to the post office, $105 billion for education, $29 billion for COVID-19 vaccine, and $16 billion for testing and contact tracing. Those are the major components of that skinny bill that we saw last week. But according to CNBC, it looks like they might be nixing the liability protection in an attempt to appear more bipartisan. Like I said, no stimulus checks in the draft that we saw, no eviction moratorium, no assistance for renters and homeowners, none of that in there. But nevertheless, apparently Senator Johnson doesn't like calling the skinny bill a skinny bill. He would prefer to refer to it as a targeted bill. But frankly, if you ask me, the draft that I've seen, it's skinny. That's a very apt description, right? Some reporters are saying that Republicans could, for example, be tweaking the skinny bill to bump up the proposed unemployment to $400 per week from $300 per week in the original skinny bill. But we'll have to see. But without state and local funding, without renters and homeowners assistance, Democrats just aren't going to go for this thing. So what's going on here? And this is just my take, not having seen this new bill or perhaps this updated version of the skinny bill, but this is basically sounding like the Senate Republicans' version of what House Democrats did with the HEROES Act. Right? The HEROES Act was never meant to be bipartisan legislation that would actually pass both houses of Congress. It was meant to get House Democrats behind something so they can say how dumb and obstinate the Republicans are being. Same thing here with the skinny Senate Republican bill, as far as I can tell. Because remember, the HEROES Act was just a bunch of different bills that haven't been voted on yet. But it looks like here Republicans are trying to cobble together one bill combining what they apparently believe to be the most urgent, perhaps bipartisan stimulus-related concerns, so they can vote on it, and then they can say, see, we took action. It's the Democrats who are the bad guys here. But what's the silver lining here? Silver lining is that we've seen an absolute hawk like Ron Johnson have a bit of a change of heart with respect to another stimulus bill, a cheap, woefully minuscule one, yes, but a stimulus bill nevertheless. And we've also heard this hawk Johnson say that he thinks that possibly 51 Republican senators could support such a bill. So maybe just maybe, this means that if there is a bipartisan second stimulus bill, some of those Republicans who months ago said, no new stimulus, folks cut from the same cloth as Ron Johnson, who a little less than 3 weeks ago said he was glad stimulus talks broke down. Maybe, just maybe, these Republicans would begrudgingly vote yay on a truly bipartisan bill. Not the HEROES Act, not the HEALS Act, not the skinny Republican bill, but something better. Is this kind of good news? Sure, but I'm still not comfortable slapping good news on my title for something like this. All right, now let's talk about unemployment. It being Thursday, the jobless claims data for the preceding week came out, and the Department of Labor's release today said that the number of new jobless claims for the week ending August 22nd was 1,006,000. That's down from the revised amount of 1.1 million from the previous week, and we still have 27 million Americans on some form of unemployment assistance. That number has been going down, by the way. It was over 30 million for quite some time, but now it's down to 27 million, though of course that's obviously still so many people, far too many. In terms of Trump's unemployment memorandum and FEMA funding, Hurricane Laura is a bit concerning because remember, there's $300 weekly benefits. They're coming out of FEMA's disaster relief fund. Okay. Anyway, Missouri has reportedly become the third state to start paying out $300 weekly benefits, following Arizona and Texas. Ohio became the 33rd state to be approved by FEMA for the $300 weekly funding for 3 weeks. And this week we saw New Jersey, North Dakota, Florida, South Carolina, and Hawaii all say that they would be applying for the FEMA grant to pay the $300 weekly. So to sum up for each state, on this map here, 33 states, you can see, have been approved by FEMA for funding for the extra $300 weekly. These are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, and Washington. 12 states have not been approved by FEMA but have indicated that they have applied or that they will apply. These states are Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Illinois, New Hampshire, New Jersey, North Dakota, Oregon, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. South Dakota has stated that it will not be applying, and 4 states, Kansas, Minnesota, Nebraska, and Wisconsin, have not giving any confirmation one way or the other whether or not they will be applying for the FEMA grants. Likewise, the District of Columbia has not given any firm confirmation with respect to whether or not it will apply. All right, everybody, that is my stimulus and unemployment update for today. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope something significant transpires today between Pelosi and Meadows. If that happens, I'll be sure to let you know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.